Well, it's once again good evening from West London in the capital. It's Fulham against Rotherham United in a simulcast between BBC Radio Sheffield and 5 Live Sports Extra. My name's Andy Giddings. Our expert summariser here at Craven Cottage is the double promotion winning Rotherham United manager Ronnie Moore, who'll be describing the game with us this evening here on what is actually quite a very dry, clear and kind of mild, dependent on how many layers you have on night here in this part of the capital. Before we hear from the Rotherham United manager Liam Richardson, let's just recap then the two teams this evening. Two changes for Rotherham United. Cafu comes in, as does Jamie Lindsay, with Ollie Rathbone and Christ Teehee dropping down to the bench. Rotherham United named Victor Johansson between the sticks. A back three of Hakeem Adofin, Sean Morrison and the Aston Villa loanee Sebastian Revan. 5 in midfield, 2 wing-backs, Dexter Lembikisa and Cohen Bramall, with Lindsay the defensive focal point of a midfield three that involves Cafu and Sam Clucas. Jordan Hugill and Tom Eaves lead the line up front. On the bench for the Millers, Phillips the goalkeeper, Kelly, Boller, Rathbone, Peltier, quick sticks after injury, Teehee, Nombe, Appiah and McGuckin. 8 changes for Fulham from the side that took on and indeed beat Arsenal. Former Rotherham United loanee Marek Rodak is in goal. Back 4 for them: Kenny Tete, Tosin Adarabayoyo, Issa Diop and Timothy Castagna. They then play 4-2-3-1. Harrison Reed and Sasa Lukic are the two sitters, with an attacking triumvirate of Harry Wilson, Bobby De Cordova-Reid and Andreas Pereira. Rodrigo Muniz leads the line up front. On the bench for the Cottagers, Bender the goalkeeper, Jimenez, Kearney, Willian, Paulina, Vinicius Robinson, Francois and Defoe Girols. Ronnie Moore, let me bring you in here. So Rotherham United taking on Premier League opposition here at Craven Cottage tonight. What do you think their approach will be?
Well, the way results have gone on in the Championship, we've just got to be brave tonight. It's one of them. It's everybody expects us to get beat, so come and enjoy the game. Get on the ball, try and pass. I mean, the pitch is outstanding. I mean, it's in great condition. So we know that, look, we're not going to have the ball as long as Fulham's having it. They're going to have probably 70-80% possession of the ball. So when we get the ball, we've got to be careful and look after it. I think our threat's going to come from your set plays, the long throw that we use, the quality from Clucas and Cafu, and then it's just a matter of us being organised. But for me, be brave, come and enjoy it. I mean, everyone thinks you're going to get beat. You've got nothing to lose.
Fulham perhaps do, though. Strong team, it was always likely to be in comparison and otherwise. 8 changes from the match that the team that took to the field against Arsenal. But look, how many times have you seen, directly or indirectly, the big club just doesn't seem at it?
Yeah, and you know that's what Fulham really have got to be careful of. You know, if they, you know, they've switched it around and give 7 or 8 other players a game tonight. I think, you know, the manager is looking at it and saying, look, that side that I've picked for tonight is good enough to go out and beat Rotherham. But if you're not at it and your head's not right, you know, you start in second gear and you can't get out of it. And that's where the shocks come from. That's when you get your League One or your non-league team beating a Premier League side or a league side. And like I said before, enjoy the FA Cup. I mean, it's a fantastic competition. Look, we're not going to win the FA Cup, but it's a great night to go out, express yourself and show people what you're about. I know we're sat bottom of the league, but they might not be right mentally, and if they're not and they're just on an off day, and we're all bang at it, you've got a chance. We've got a chance.
Well, the Premier League title challengers, Arsenal, lost at Fulham on New Year's Eve. So how are Liam Richardson and his Rotherham United side going to succeed where the Gunners failed?
Well, that's what we're trying to work on last couple of days. Listen, we're going to have to work very hard. It'll be a healthy challenge. But first and foremost, we have to give a good account of ourselves. You know, the players, like I said before, the players' pressure is to perform, be available to perform at the optimum levels, and to go and to Craven Cottage and anywhere in the Premier League, really, or the Championship, you have to be at the optimum level, and Friday we're no different. So, you know, the fixtures have not been great for us, bringing the game forward today as well. But it's something we've got to deal with, overcome, and adapt, and we'll do our best.
It's a game that obviously doesn't come with the usual pressures of the league and the difficult position that you're in. Is there a little bit more of a freedom there to go and attack this one?
I don't think there's a freedom anyway when you take the pitch. There's a freedom of expression. There's a freedom of work ethic, of choices that you make in certain actions. And, Friday will be no different. We'll try and represent ourselves as individuals. And then obviously as a collective unit, football team thereafter. So, if we keep giving us similar outputs, we'll give a good challenge to Fulham.
Is it a tough one to prepare for you and the rest of your coaching team? Because undoubtedly Premier League clubs, when it comes to the FA Cup, will probably make a few changes. Is it hard to know what Fulham side that you're going to come up against?
I think you've got to be diligent in anything and everything. The staff work very hard, we're extremely hard, and we try and leave no stone unturned. So we can obviously do what we do as best we can, but be aware of certain strengths and availability of what these Premier League clubs carry. So we know the challenge, and like I said, they've won 6 out of the 10 Premier League games at Craven Cottage. So you can see where they're at home. They've got a style of play, which we'll have to be mindful of, and we'll have to meet them in certain areas, and then thereafter we'll have to impose ourselves in certain ways as well.
What would a win or even a draw this Friday do for the football club on the back of a really good few games in the league?
Yeah, it'll keep that momentum. It'll keep that belief. It'll keep them individuals growing within their job spec, and the group will, obviously, will benefit from that as they always do. Any positive results you can take great credit from and build from there. So, Friday's no different to last Monday or thereafter.
Couple upset memories for yourself, either good or bad. What have you been involved in as a player or a boss?
I've been fortunate to be involved in quite a few. Notably, when Wigan and we beat Man City in the FA Cup 1-0, so that's obviously sticks in my mind, quite quickly. Been in various cup runs against Premier League teams, so but we do know it starts with a lot of hard work and sometimes a bit of luck as well.
As cup upsets go, that wasn't a bad one, was it? Let's be honest.
Not really. He'll do well to trump that one, but like I say, we had to work hard on that night, and it'd be no different on Friday.
Just shows you, though, doesn't it, that no matter how difficult the challenge is, that football's football and anything can happen on the day. Yeah,
absolutely. If you put the work in, you're diligent in yourself and what you do, and be very mindful and like you say, try and play with expression and that belief in what you want to do around a football pitch. You'll always try and create that chance and that opportunity, and that's what we'll be trying to do.
Well, that's Liam Richardson, the Rotherham United manager, as the two sides stride out here from the Black Perspex tunnel, which concertina's out onto the field of play from just underneath the famous cottage here at Craven Park. The Rotherham United players in their red shirts with the white sleeves, the white shorts and the red socks, to the left of the Fulham players, who play predominantly in their white shirts with black sleeves, black and red shorts and black socks, led out by Simon Hooper, the big match referee. He is a late arrival, a late change. Dean Whitestone was supposed to be taking charge of this evening's fixture, but for whatever reason, Simon Hooper will lead the match this evening as the two sets of players come out to a raucous noise here at Craven Park. The Hammersmith end is virtually packed to the rafters. The Putney end to our left-hand side here at Craven Park has 700 or 800 Rotherham United supporters who've made the trip here, which on a Friday after Christmas is a wonderful achievement. And the lower tier of the new Riverside stand is full and brimming with Fulham supporters, as is the Johnny Haynes stand where we are sat right now. It's a first. Never before have Fulham and Rotherham United met in the FA Cup. Fulham quarter-finalists last season. Rotherham United, historically speaking, have a pretty terrible record in the FA Cup, but it's high time then that changed. This time last year the Millers were being soundly beaten by then League One rivals Ipswich Town by 4-1. Matt Taylor just about managed to survive that, but didn't survive too much longer, which is why Liam Richardson will lead the Millers then here at Craven Cottage this evening. So Fulham come into this game on the back of a stirring Premier League victory against Arsenal. It's 5 points from 9 for Rotherham United after a good festive period, and wins against Middlesbrough and draws against Sunderland and most recently Blackburn Rovers. So the two sets of players fan out here at Craven Cottage while we await the two captains. Sean Morrison, who towers over Harrison Reed, the captain of Fulham, over the centre spots, and we are a few seconds away, Ronnie Moore, from this encounter getting off and underway.
Yeah, and let's hope we start well. That's the big thing for us. Last few games we've played in, we haven't started that well. We need to be nice and brave and keep the ball. Let's not go long too often. We've got two big lads up front now in Hugo and Eves up there, so let's try and pass and try and get the ball wide into the wide areas and maybe get some more crosses into the box to give them two big lads a chance.
So Simon Hooper puts his whistle to his mouth, just checks the goalkeepers, both of whom have Rotherham United connections. Victor Johansson, the Rotherham United goalkeeper. Marek Rodek spent 2 years under Paul Warne with the Millers. So the game is off and underway here on BBC Radio Sheffield and in a simulcast with 5 Live Sports Extra. The Millers playing as we look from left to right towards the Hammersmith Road end that houses the vast majority of the Fulham supporters, and an early chance for a long throw-in. Sean Morrison will come forward to take it. The big former Cardiff City centre-half just wiping the early moisture off the ball here. So just over 30 seconds in, the ball speared into the penalty area. Glancing header by Jordan Hugill, who got a thick edge to that, Ronnie Moore, but it just scuffed the side netting and went behind.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be part and parcel of our strengths, the set players like we were talking about before. I mean, he's got a fantastic long throw as Morrison, and Hugo will be a little bit upset that he didn't get, he's coming through past the near post, and he's got to be flicking them rather than trying to head them at the target. And it was an easy header, really, just past the post. But that more of that, but think about what we do when the ball comes into the box. That's the big thing. Little glance on, and people coming in on a back post and get on the end of it.
It was obviously something of a planned move. Hugill was trotting back away from the edge of the 6-yard box, made contact with the header, but standing right on the post, Marek Rodek just watched it glide past his knees and into the side netting. So Premier League Fulham have possession. It's onto the chest of left back Castagna. He is a fullback who can play on either flank. Kenny Tete has been restored to the Fulham starting 11 today, so he is about to receive the ball over on the far side, the Dutchman, and he gets it as you might expect early on. Fulham enjoying quite a bit of possession as Harrison Reed, the former Southampton man, will just tease it out wide once again. Kenny Tete, who's had his injuries over Christmas, probably had a few cobwebs in his eyes then, and it scuffed over his foot and out of play for a throw into Rotherham United over on the far side. A throw-in that will be taken by Sebastian Revan, looking left and right, dropping and showing for it Cafu, but his first touch is heavy, and Fulham turn here now with De Cordova-Reid on the apex of the penalty area before Fulham give the ball away. It's scuffed into the penalty area with inadequate support coming for De Cordova-Reid, and it's cleared to the near side by Dexter Lembikisa. Fulham continue on the attack. Here's Andreas Pereira with the shock blonde hair. It's pushed back towards halfway, back to Issa Diop, the Frenchman who used to play for West Ham United, now Tosin Adarabayoyo. Fulham with plenty of movement, plenty of zip in their movement too as well, but good shape early on for Rotherham United, who are quite content to let them pass it from left to right. Here's De Cordova-Reid, who took control of the first time pass from Castagna deep inside the Rotherham right back position, but it's nudged out of play and the Millers get a throw in, Ronnie Moore.
Yeah, good defending to be fair. The shape that we were talking about before is there. You can see the back five are a solid back five. You've got 3 lads sat in front of them, more central than anything, and the 2 lads up front are splitting wide to stop the fullbacks coming out. So be patient. I mean, what's the keeper doing here?
Well, Victor Johansson took control of the ball outside of his goal mouth in the right back position. He miscontrolled it, and it's gone out of play for a throw in which Fulham take quickly. Victor Johansson, who until that particular moment, Ronnie Moore, had been Rotherham United player of the season.
Yeah, he certainly has been, and he'll need to be tonight as well. But doing silly things like that, coming out to the right back spot from the throw-in. Lucky, got away with it.
I know a lot of goalkeepers think they're outfield players.
Yeah.
Some just aren't.
But it's funny now because
even in this day and age,
they don't. It's not so much how you save him, how's your hands. It's how's your feet, isn't it? You know, which is crazy. Real as a keeper, you know, you want them to be really good with their hands, and if they're half decent with their feet, then fine. But they all want too much about it now.
So here is De Cordova-Reid taking control just in front of the centre circle. Everybody really bar Tom Eaves at 6'4", his defending at the moment, as Andreas Pereira receives the ball on the near side. A little step over, skip into the penalty area, laying it to De Cordova-Reid, who shoots, and it's rattled off the chest of Hakeem Odoffin, who flew out to block on the edge of the penalty area, and courtesy of a big deflection off Hacks, it's hacked behind for a Fulham corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good block, to be fair. I mean, they're going to, like I said before, we've got to be patient. You know, they're going to have the ball more. And then Reid on the edge of the box has hit one from 20 yards, and it's got a little deflection, and it's gone out for this corner now. There's two on the corner here.
Yeah, Andreas Pereira and Harry Wilson stand over it, conspiring over on the far side of the pitch, just in front of the 700 or so travelling Rotherham United supporters.
We've got Reid on the edge of the box here, right next to the referee. Nobody near him. If anything gets headed out here.
So in it's bent by Pereira. It veered in the direction of De Cordova-Reid, but there was a Rotherham United boot to it, and Fulham are repelled to the far side of the pitch. So goalless then here on BBC Radio Sheffield. Early stages of this FA Cup third round tie between Rotherham United at the foot of the Championship and Premier League Fulham. They're very much a Jekyll and Hyde Premier League team, Fulham. 2 5-0 wins recently. That was followed by 3 defeats, and then they go and beat Arsenal. So hopefully Rotherham United can get Fulham on a bad day today. In comes Tete, who's quickly closed down by Cohen Bramall as the ball is won back by Rotherham United. Now in possession, what can they do? Well, it's ushered back towards goalkeeper Victor Johansson, who punts it long from left to right. Adara Bayoyo is there to sweep up at the back, and it's a touch for Marek Rodek. All in lime green to our right hand side, and Fulham have it once again. 13th in the Premier League. They've got the League Cup semi-final to look forward to, a double header against Liverpool, the second leg then being here at Craven Cottage. Fulham go long, skying the long ball to the near side. Right full-back for Rotherham, Dexter Lembikisa will nod it out of play for a throw-in, and Fulham have it once again. I suspect the tone of the night has been set as Andreas Pereira, sandwedge-like from the near side, floats at the ball, which Victor Johansson comes forward to make a relatively straightforward catch.
It wasn't particularly good cross there, straight into the keeper. And to be fair to Johansson now, he's just slowing the game down a little bit. Take your time, eat up the minutes. As many as then as we can eat up with nothing happening will be fine for us.
Well, of course, no extra time. It would go to a replay, which I'm sure in many respects would be welcomed, should it swell the coffers for the January transfer window and all that may well entail for Rotherham United. Fulham are without 3 players who are with their respective countries over at the African Cup of Nations right now. And there's been a little bit of talk about João Paulinho once again and Bayern Munich. It's going to be a fast and furious month, no doubt. Pereira bending the ball right-footed. It will drop on the D on the edge of the penalty area. Harrison Reed making a little half break to the edge of the box, but his run was trapped. Now Sam Klukas has it at the dead ball line. He'll drive it away onto the chest of Cafu, the Portuguese, who will usher it wide to the far side, and Cohen Bramall. Down the line it goes, shielding it well, Jordan Hugill, who's got Kenny Tete trying to rag the shirt off his back. Ultimately, Rotherham United keep the ball and work it to the back. And here's Sean Morrison once again.
Nice phase of play, that, to be fair. We've kept it really well. Then we go long. We've kicked the ball away. We need to keep it. The Dolphins just played a 60-70 yard pass down the line, and he's offside now coming back.
Do you think that's a panic ploy?
I think so. You know, we've kept the ball 4 or 5, maybe 6 passes there. Then go back. If you can't go forward, don't force the play. Try and keep possession of the ball, back to the keeper, and we start again.
So Brentford 0, Wolves 0, but Wolves have been reduced to 10 men in their FA Cup encounter. Gomez has been sent off across London. Well, across West London, so a relatively short trip to Brentford. We drove through Chiswick on our way here. And, Rotherham United, Ronnie, have got you to West London. They might get you to North London one day. Tottenham and Burnley will begin at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, that would be great if we could get a draw against Spurs. I'd love to go and see that ground. I mean, it looks fantastic. I just can't wait for that to happen. There's a break for us.
Yeah, and you could hear the ooze around us as Cafu, Rotherham United give the ball away. Cafu now working his way down the far side, which is the Miller's left. Now Cohen Bramall crossing position, floats in that cross. Dexter Lembikis is just beaten to it by Timothy Castagna, and De Cordova-Reid and Castagna lead the modest counter-attack on the near side. A little shuffle of the feet from Castagna, who is an FA Cup winner with Leicester City. Played the whole game of their final win against Chelsea a couple of years ago, and now just at their own pace, Fulham can walk their way into Rotherham United's half of the pitch. It remains 0-0 if you're just tuning into us here on BBC Radio Sheffield in a simulcast with 5 Live Sports Extra. The match is also available online to UK users, so wherever you listen to us, thanks for your company. A busy, big weekend of FA Cup football that will be reflected, reviewed and displayed across many BBC platforms this weekend, so take it in at your leisure, not least the highlights on the box on BBC One tomorrow night. Here, Kenny Tete, the Netherlands defender, pings in the cross, stooping to head away. Hakeem Adoffin inside his 18-yard box, and then Tom Eaves in a definite battle of size over substance takes out his marker. Tom Eaves knocks Wilson to the ground. It will be a Fulham free kick on the right.
Was it? I mean, there was nothing in it really. I mean, the lads clipped the little ball in there. It's been headed out, and then he's got to go for it. Probably his foot's just a touch too high. And he's run into him. Dangerous position now here. All the big lads from the back are up. You've got Tosun, Diop and
Rotherham shouldn't lack confidence in this area of the pitch, though.
Not with the height we've got, yeah.
Yeah, with Morrison, who's a pass master, Eaves, who's very tall. Klukas is not a short footballer, as Pereira bends the ball in high into the box. Issa Diop with the thick edge to his header. It's glanced backwards and will roll tamely out of play on the near side for a throw-in to Rotherham United. It remains 0-0, Ronnie Moore.
Yeah, we got a little bit lucky. Reid seems to be finding an awful lot of space in there from the free kick, from the corner. He was all on his own, and the lad doesn't actually head it. Reid's just coming in on the back post, stooping for a header goal. Someone's got to see Reid just all on his own, nobody near him.
So here is Hugel backing into Castagna, levering the ball back to Lembikisa, who chips it to halfway. Here is Tosin Adarabayoyo. Fulham don't particularly keep the ball successfully, although where they lost possession, the post that's holding up the roof is right in my line of sight, Ronnie Moore. It's the only smidge of the pitch I can't see, but Fulham retain possession, and it remains goalless then here on BBC Radio Sheffield and 5 Live Sports Extra. Wide it goes to Kenny Tete. He shepherds the ball in field towards Harrison Reid. 149 league appearances for Fulham, and now Issa Diop, a Fulham team, incidentally, Miller's fans, that made 8 changes from their win over Arsenal the other day. But there is a fairly healthy looking bench for them. And actually Rotherham United's bench has been aided by Lee Peltier's return from injury. The defender is back. Liam Richardson said in the Boxing Day interview with us that he might be out for weeks, but just over a week, so that's actually quite good news, Ronnie Moore, given the fact that he can play in multiple positions. Yeah,
I mean, it's good to have him back, there's no doubt about that. But he doesn't give much away, Liam, does it?
No, guarded in his answers about team news, regardless of the opposition, as Pereira turns over the ball. He will lay it towards the dead ball line. Castagna's cross, Morrison wins the header. Good job he did too. Muniz was crashing in. Here is Morrison again, beating the smaller Brazilian to the ball 6 yards out. So Fulham continue to hold possession of the ball. Reed will take a heavy touch, but it's allowed him just to wriggle away from Cafu. And now in the centre of the park, it's the Serbian defensive midfielder Sasha Lukic. Chipped forward now by Pereira. Volleyed away from the edge of the box by Lembakisa. Into Eves for Rotherham United. And as soon as Rotherham United just spot an opportunity to break, they're then forced to retreat to the edge of their own penalty area, and then Klukas is the player who will knock it forward. It's there for Tom Eves to chase. He's buffeted off his run there by Adara Bayoyo, and Marek Rodek easily has the ball.
And we've got to keep the ball better. I mean, great little bit of football there. Comes to Klukas, 10 yards outside our box, and he wants to shoot long 60-70 yard ball straight through to their keeper. Puts them back on the attack, and they've got possession of the ball again.
It is perhaps a match so far in the 15th minute of it that you might expect. Fulham keeping possession relatively casually, although despite all of that, Victor Johansson has not had a save of any great significance to make so far. When Rotherham United do have it, they don't have it for long. It is the 49th meeting between these two sides. They have of course met as league equals. The last time was at the New York Stadium in April 2017. Fulham were victors that day by a 1-0. But you have to go all the way back to 1992 for the last time Rotherham United won at Craven Cottage. They won by a 0-0. It was Phil Henson's Rotherham United that won that day. I'm sure the Millers fans knew that. Nigel Johnson, the scorer of the goal here in West London. No goals as yet, no significant chances, but if anyone looks likely, Ronnie, it's the home team. Yeah,
which is expected, to be fair. You know, they're going to have more possession of the ball, but we've defended really well. You know, we've been brave when we're on the ball, but we just need to be a little bit braver and don't panic and go long. But neither keepers had a save to make, to be honest. So for all the possession that Fulham have had, they haven't really cut out a clear-cut chance yet.
Well, Liam Richardson might be a quiet man, as it were, in press conferences, but he's looking a little agitated in his dark blue puffer jacket on the far side of the field to us here. Marco Silva, the Portuguese manager of Fulham, seated at this particular moment in time. So no goals then. Castagna tapping the ball in field now to Pereira, who hits it first time over the top. The runner in behind was Rodrigo Muniz, but it veered away from him and drops out of play. It will be a goal kick to Rotherham United.
It looks like they're just finding it that little bit difficult to sort of thread any ball through the lines. You know, we've held the back five, we've held their position really, and there's not a space for them. So long may that continue for us anyway, but we just, like I said before, if we can just relax a little bit when we do get possession of the ball, and then we'll get ourselves a little chance.
Football Heaven on BBC Radio Sheffield and 5 Live Sports Extra. Don't forget to join Ellie Colton on Monday from 6. All the reaction to all of today's game will be available via our social media feeds at Football Heaven and online at bbc.co.uk/Radio Sheffield. As Kenny Tete has to shuffle quickly across on the halfway line, take the ball away from Cohen Bramall. It will be intriguing to see if Bramall can get the better of Tete for pace. He does most defenders in the Championship. We'll see if he can get the better of the 28-year-old Dutchman on the far side. Here is Castagna taking control of the ball. The left full-back position in an elevated position. He then threads it back to Castagna, and as soon as he controlled the ball, Eves thundered into his chest and the ball goes out of play for a throw-in. Taken in the end by Castagna into Lukic. Lukic, now De Cordova-Reid, who had that curling effort that was deflected wide in the very early stages of the game. Fulham looking to build. A wild cross from the right. It will bounce and not go out of play. It will bounce kindly for Pereira, who shimmies over the ball, laying a short pass back to Castagna, still in a crossing position. Now to Pereira, shuffles and twists and evades the lunging challenge of Lembakisa. Up to Muniz on the edge of the penalty area. His first time pass gets back to Pereira. It's all quite intricate, but then it breaks down, and then Hugh Gill brings it clear.
Free kick.
But Simon Hooper has blown his whistle. He spotted that Sean Morrison has gone down in the D, and a chance for a breather. Ronnie Moore.
Yeah, it looks like he needs it there. He's fine. It's just I think it was Wilson in the end who's tried to just nick the ball off him and actually missed the ball and caught him at the bottom of the shin. But he seems to be all right. He's giving it a rub now.
Well, he's okay. The very experienced 32-year-old. He's had a plethora of injury problems, but significantly for Rotherham United, 4 straight 90 minutes on the spin over Christmas as he bulldozes into Rodrigo Muniz. I think Sean Morrison's fine as he raised his hand to the referee saying sorry. He's all right. Muniz might not be, but
Muniz is all right.
Morrison's fine.
Typical centre-half battle with this big striker, isn't it?
Definitely so. So here, the Millers in their red shirts with the white trim defending from left to right as we look, as Fulham come forward again, continuing the pattern of the game so far of dominating in possession. Now here's Harry Wilson, former Liverpool man. Derby County saw very much great things from him in the goal-scoring sense as Tete sweeps the first-time ball to Reid, who was racing forward on the overlap. But Rotherham United stay strong over on the far side there left, and Fulham are forced to backtrack towards halfway. They come again down this near side into the feet of De Cordova-Reid. Rotherham United defend. In goes the cross, and a glancing downward header from Sebastian Revan denies Harry Wilson the opportunity to make hay at the dead ball line. It will be a corner in front of the Millers fans.
Yeah, Lembakisa really, he's allowed the cross to the ball. It was too easy to put it in the right area. Then did he get a little nicker on the back post? Just about, probably. But he's got to do better, Lembakisa. He's got to get closer and get tighter.
Here's Pereira bending the corner to Muniz, whose powerful header comes. Then it's ricocheting around in the penalty area. He got the second shot away, the Brazilian, but the red wall was in the way, and away Fulham go once again. But that was a double opportunity. Tap efforts, both blocked.
Yeah, I mean, from the corner, like I say, we've just got to make sure we're set and organised. There was 2 blocks, 2 shots, and 2 blocks really. So our keeper's still not had a save to make.
So here in West London, Fulham are dominating possession, but very little else as Tosin Adarabayoyo is invited to run onto the ball. The former Manchester City youth team player into the feet of Pereira on this FA Cup third round night here in the capital. It is a night where you'd like to believe that anything could happen. Current evidence perhaps suggests that Fulham are looking to get this job done and dusted, but we shall see. Rotherham United are standing firm at the moment. The ball will be taken from the throw into Wilson, swung left-footed to Diop. Diop in those blue boots starts to canter forward. Fulham now on the attack once again with De Cordova-Reid. He gets it, gives it, plays a little 1-2 with Pereira, then a heavy touch from Diop, almost provided the opportunity for Hugill to get a foot in, but he couldn't quite. In goes the cross. Quite a lot of bend on this one. In the end, it's veered right into the midriff of Victor Johansson, who didn't have to move. Caught, 0-0, 23 gone.
Yeah, you can just sense a little bit of frustration from the Fulham players. You know, like I said before, the back five are really solid and tight together. You know, their midfield players can't play through the line, through the back five, to create any sort of chances, and having to go wide all the time with the ball and getting frustrated with the final ball in the box. So that's good for us. We've just got to keep that going, keep that tempo going, and don't do anything silly.
What are your FA Cup highlights, whether it's with Rotherham or anybody else? Ronnie Moore, you've Tranmere, Oldham Athletic.
Not many good ones, that's for sure. You know, a lot of them, especially when you're League One, League Two, you don't come into the third round, so it doesn't give you many chances.
Well, here Victor Johansson comes racing off his 6-yard line and makes the catch ever present in the Championship. Victor Johansson, a little bit of football with the Sweden national team this year as well. He is very much a goalkeeper on the rise. But I kind of better shut up now, otherwise I'll get a lot of tweets saying stop trying to sell our best player. As Rotherham United give the ball away to De Cordova-Reid, but there's nothing he could do about that. Victor Johansson, full stretch as he dived towards his right-hand side. The effort from De Cordova-Reid screamed into the goalkeeper's top right-hand corner. A fabulous effort to break the deadlock, and Rotherham United's resistance lasted 23 minutes as De Cordova-Reid from 20 yards hits top spot. Fulham 1, Rotherham United 0.
Well, it's the first time we've played out. I mean, I've never seen us do it before. Then Revan gets caught in possession. He's got nowhere to go. And it was awful, sloppy pass. He looked like he was going to play it wide. I mean, Johansson's played out with the ball, and then Revan loses it straight into Reid. And look, Reid smashed it. It's a great strike. But that is a self-destruct. Absolutely, Revan, what is he doing? I mean, he's a left-back playing left side as centre-half, and he looked exactly like that. I mean, that was poor. I mean, we've gifted him. We've actually gifted him another awful goal. It's a great strike, don't get me wrong, but, you know, there's no way that Revan should be playing a ball anywhere near back into the 18-yard box.
Shouldn't have been put in the position to score. So Fulham 1, Rotherham United 0 here on BBC Radio Sheffield and 5 Live Sports Extra. The first FA Cup goal of the evening. No goals between Brentford and Wolves. That's another goal for De Cordova-Reid, his 5th of the season. Scored the winner against Arsenal last time around. Scored against Sheffield United earlier in the campaign as well. Here's Harry Wilson turning inside, deep inside Rotherham United's left back position. He takes on Sebastian Revan. Tried to go around the outside of the Villa youngster who slipped back, made the challenge, out of play it goes. And the next 5 or 10 minutes are crucial for Rotherham, aren't they?
Yeah, because we've got to forget all about it, because it can upset you so much and so quickly. You know, when you realise one of your mates has just made an absolute mistake here. There's plenty of space again. Look at this. All the big lads have grabbed our big lads round to the back post, and Reid's there again.
Little stutter step run up from Pereira. In goes the cross. Well, possibly one of the biggest players on the pitch, Issa Diop, at 6'4", stooped to try and head that cross on the grass.
And anybody else, a typical centre-half who wanted to head it and actually wanted volleying or side-footing from the penalty spot. I mean, he's never going to score with a header from there.
Not really, and there was a clutch of players in the way too. So football heaven, Harrison Reid toe ends the ball forward, but as he tried to take it on, he ran into Cafu, and the Portuguese stands firm. And now Rotherham United have it with Eves off the chest on halfway, in front of Marco Silva, who's just seen his side take the lead through Bobby Reid. That snood lifted over his nose. Fulham on the attack now with De Cordova-Reid. Infield it comes to Pereira, at the heart of much of everything Fulham have been able to do from the attacking sense. Now Hugill laying a short ball into Eves, who holds it up well. He's turned away from 3 in white and then turned into and out of trouble again. He's done very well there, Tom Eves, as Rotherham United keep possession, and you can just hear in the distance a faint Eves from the 700 or 800 Rotherham United fans.
He's done well, to be fair to him. I mean, they've had nothing up to the 2 strikers. I mean, that's a free kick.
You could hear the slap of the ball on Tom Eves' chest and the thud as he hit the deck. So he's won a free kick for his side there, and possibly an opportunity for Rotherham United to give themselves a platform to launch an attack here. 1-0 down at Fulham, 28th minute of the match, and not quite playing for miracles yet.
No, we're not, you know, but it's frustrating when we've actually limited them to few chances, really. Keepers, like I say, keepers not had a save to make, and then it's self-destruct. I mean, awful mistake. It's cost us.
So Sam Klukas then, who scored that wonderful goal against Sunderland over the festive period, will launch the ball left-footed to the edge of the box. Eves now turns his man and shoots, and the ball's been turned in.
No, he's give it.
Offside call against Jordan Hugill, who thought he'd scored the goal to get Rotherham United very quickly and speedily back on terms, but as he glanced to the near side, the linesman's flag was up.
I'll tell you what, Eves should have done better as well. When you look at it, I mean, it's a decent ball. It's a floater onto the back post, and there's a little ball. It comes to Eves, he gets a little break, and he smashes it right foot, but he goes to the far post. It's actually a shot, a goal that went to the far post, and it goes straight to Hugill, and he's just stood in there. But once Eves had set up and got the break, he's got to hit the target, and he with his right foot there.
I wonder how many Rotherham fans are listening to us right now, Ronnie, and thinking, that's Tom Eves, that wasn't a pass.
Yeah, it wasn't a pass, it was a shot that could have turned into a wonderful pass in the end if Hugill had just timed his run
by a split second. So Rotherham United a little unlucky. that Hugh Gill's goal was ruled out. Tom Eaves, it was a great interview that Adam got with him upon his return to goal-scoring form. I think everybody wishes him well as he wins the ball back superbly at the far corner flag. In it goes. Hugh Gill's rising, wins the header. Lindsay's underneath it. Can he turn and get the shot away? Not quite. Maybe Cafu can. He's forced to just back pedal away from the edge of the penalty area. Sebastian Revan's brought into play, but he's overhit the ball towards Cohen Bramall, who was stretching things on the left, and it's gone behind. But look, all of a sudden Rotherham United have had a couple of opportunities.
Well, they've come alive. They've got a little bit of belief. Probably, you know, the goal's given probably a kick up the backside, and they know they've got to score now. They've come out a little bit more. They've kept the ball a little bit more. But we know Bramall's quick. I mean, he's electric, but he didn't need a motorbike to get that ball from Revan there. Just too heavy. Just half decent ball in. But it's better from us. It's, you know, we are asking them a question and we're testing them.
Well, those are the words of Rotherham United legend Ronnie Moore then here at Craven Cottage. Under jet black skies here, no rain, lovely night, relatively mild, or it feels that way anyway, or if it's just the fact that I've got 5 layers on, as De Cordova-Reid turns, gets it to the edge of the box. Castagna had continued his run in from the near touchline side, but there was Morrison just to tidy up, and it's chipped away. Fulham have the lead, given to them thanks to a cracking strike, albeit after some miserable possession from Rotherham United on the edge of their own box from the Bristolian De Cordova-Reid, a Jamaica teammate of Dexter Lembikisa. Wasn't he who gave the ball away, that was Sebastian Revan. As Fulham come again, playing from right to left as we look, with those predominantly white shirts with the black, white and red trim. They've dominated the ball from start to finish, but just glimpses there for Rotherham United, and a chance of getting back on terms. Fulham haven't gone out of the FA Cup at the first hurdle, regardless of what division they've been in since the 18-19 season. That day, though, they did lose 2-1 to Oldham, Ronnie Moore. So we shall see. And the likes of Kearney and Ream, who are still in the Fulham squad, were involved that day, as Hakeem Odoffin will just take a optimistic back heel from De Cordova-Reid, who was trying to get the ball to Andreas Pereira and nonchalantly boot it away down the near side. Hugh Gill ends up flat on his back after a little tussle with Diop. Simon Hooper not fooled. He is a player who's gaining an unwanted reputation for looking for free kicks first, even though Simon Hooper is a late replacement in the game. Possibly wise to that, as Lembikisa intercepts a square ball along the edge of the box, and Rotherham United get it away. So 1-0 Fulham, first time ball in field from Reid. It's swept back to the goal scorer, and he will feed it to Thomas Castagna on the near side. The Belgian, who played the full FA Cup final in 2021 as Leicester beat Chelsea. That's his never scored for Fulham, by the way, Thomas Castagna. And it will be a free kick to the Millers over on the far side, and Sam Klukas is pointing and gesticulating, saying, look, everybody forward, before leaving the free kick taking duties to Victor Johansson, who couldn't have done anything about the goal, Ronnie Moore.
No.
Full stretch, wasn't he, at 6 foot plus,
yeah,
top
he
corner.
Was. I mean, it had to be a tremendous strike to beat him from there. I mean, he's just probably 18, 19 yards out, centre of the goal, and he's put it past keeper's right hand post, but it was an awful mistake by Revan. Yeah,
he is the busiest goalkeeper in the Championship, Victor Johansson, but not had a great deal to do tonight, and yet it's Fulham who lead in the 33rd minute by a goal to nil. Football Heaven on BBC Radio Sheffield and 5 Live Sports Extra tomorrow. Commentaries, League 2, Harrogate against Doncaster Rovers. This for Radio Sheffield listeners. We've got Gillingham against the Blades on FM frequencies, Watford against Chesterfield on digital radio, and then all frequencies, Sheffield Wednesday against Cardiff City at 5:30. Football Heaven returns on Monday, when we'll be taking your calls, whoever you support, 6 till 7, 0800 111 49 49. After Elliot breakfast, Paulette in the morning, and Toby 2 till 6 in the afternoon. Lukic then, the Serbian with the short dark hair, passes it square infield to Adara Bayoyo, who scored in the 5-0 win against West Ham. Now casually Castagna receives the ball. Down the line it comes to De Cordova-Reid. Castagna gets it back once again, and a first time ball through the centre circle with a little bit of pressure this time from Tom Eaves, who takes it away from Tete. He's doing his best, almost single-handedly, Tom Eaves, to press the two centre halves. Hugill's a bit deeper and not quite as effective.
Yeah, he's definitely been the better one of the two up there. I mean, he's the workaholic really to Hugill. Hugill's the one who's trying to use his strength, if you like, but he's just getting a habit of looking for free kicks rather than just challenging for the ball. And if he gets fouled, he gets fouled.
Morris slipping the ball back to Victor Johansson. Then Sebastian Revan with a little disco dance over the ball. He was able to get away with it on this occasion. And then Cafu is dispossessed by two in white on the halfway line. Marco Silva, hands firmly rooted in his pockets, stalking around in the technical area over on the far side. But his side, the Premier League side, are leading by a 1-0. As I mentioned, they did of course beat Arsenal last time out. It was preceded by a 3-0 defeat to Bournemouth. Burnley beat them here 2-0, and they lost 3-0 against Newcastle United. But the next round of Premier League fixtures, they'll start 13th in the table as Lukic looks up from the centre circle, spotted the run of Tete racing forward down the right hand side, but the ball was dramatically overhit and it goes into the stand behind the goal.
But you know that's part and parcel of their midfield players. He's invented his own pass there because there's nowhere to go, because they're so tight, and really, I mean, they are a solid five. They just can't find any room in there, and he's overkicked. It's gone out for the goal kick. We just need a break here. We can just get a goal and get back into it.
Rising unchallenged Morrison wins the defensive header to Bramall, skying it forward down the Riverside stand on the far side. The lower tier is fully stocked, by the way, but if, like many, you're thinking, well, maybe one day make a trip to Fulham, that stand won't be open until next season, I gather, as Lembi Kisa will take control, just trot into Fulham's half of the pitch before he's closed down by De Cordova-Reid, so he turns, and Morrison ultimately will get the ball back to the bearded Victor Johansson. Fulham leading by a 0-0, pressing with plenty of vim and vigour over on the far side. Can Rotherham United get out of trouble and play their way to halfway? Well, they can, but only temporarily.
Yeah, it's good though. It's gone our play for the throw in there, so we forced ourselves edge of the box. We've kept the ball up to the halfway line. It's gone out our throw in. It gets us up the park as well now, and yet still two centre halves have stayed right in there. It's our throw in 10 yards inside their half. And we've got our two centre-backs are 10 yards outside our box. I don't get it.
Particularly given the size of one of them.
Yeah, there we go. What's that
Fulham
about?
take the ball far too cheaply, and it's Rodrigo Muniz to the edge of the box. Then he shoots from just to the right of the D. He took aim, the shot skidded along the surface, and Victor Johansson watched it bobble past his right-hand post by some distance. But the possession in the middle of the park from Rotherham United, Ronnie, was awful.
I don't get the back two as well, the two centre-backs. They've got to be up. I mean, he's all on his own. Muniz is just there, and he's waltzed past it, little ricochet. He's come to him and he's run it to Morrison, waltzed round Morrison like he's not even there. And luckily for us, he's put the ball past the post. But why are they that deep? You need to be up on the halfway line. You squeeze them. Don't give them any room there. Especially two centre-halves who've got no pace. You're just asking for trouble. And we nearly got it.
So Fulham have it once again, a ripple of applause as Fulham play the ball out from the back, and Harrison Reed spots some grass in which to race forward into. Off he goes down the far side. The ball is tapped back then to Kenny Tete. Tete infield to Lukic. Good watching there from Tom Eaves. It just gave Fulham something to think about. Back they go into the centre circle, and Tosin Adara Bayoyo played in the Championship and was a Championship winner with Fulham, the big defender, 6'5", orchestrating well in the middle of the park. He gets it once again. There was a brief summer transfer window when he was linked as clearly a much younger player with a loan spell at Sheffield Wednesday, but that never materialised as Here, De Cordova-Reid, the goal scorer, threads the square ball in field, taken control of there by Timothy Castagna. He's got Hakeem Odoffin at his back. Fulham keep the ball, and largely in a casual sense, as Pereira, formerly of Manchester United, Andreas Pereira, will shift it back to halfway. Now Castagna rolls the ball under his blue boots. Back it goes to halfway, and Diop on this clear night in West London. Ronnie and I had the easiest journey I think anybody from north of the Watford Gap has ever had to West London. We've glided down here. Sadly, Fulham are gliding up the pitch again as Reid takes control 25 yards out, slips the ball wide to Tete on the corner of the penalty area. Wilson darting forward on the overlap, touched it, just tapped it past Sebastian Revan. He thought he could get there before the ball crossed the dead ball line. He couldn't, and it will be a goal kick to Rotherham United in the 40th minute of the match.
Good defending again. You know, I keep saying how well we have defended. You know, they're finding it really hard. They're having to go on the outside all the time, and they're just overrunning the ball. I mean, it's been a really good performance, really, from the lads, without having a shot at target. But we're away at Fulham, you know, and we've settled into the game really well, and we just self-destruct, and that's the sad thing about the thing at the moment.
Here's Muniz through to De Cordova-Reid, but as the Brazilian pushed the ball from the D, it was overhit. It was only about a 5 or 6 yard pass. De Cordova-Reid couldn't dig it out of his feet to bring it under control, and Rotherham United have the ball back.
Yeah, we got lucky, didn't we, there? Yeah. I mean, we might have just been offside, but he rams it at him. Just wanted a little side foot. He drives it at Reid. There's no way he can control that.
So 1-0 Fulham. Final 5 minutes of the first half in terms of normal time then here. Victor Johansson lifts the ball up from the goal kick towards halfway. Adara Bayoyo wins the aerial battle with Jordan Hugill just short of halfway. But Rotherham United temporarily try and win the ball back. But it's Andreas Pereira, who was 28 on New Year's Day, who brings it under control. Fulham get possession and easily manoeuvre it around their back four today. 8 changes for Fulham from the side that beat Arsenal, so Marco Silva opting not to play. Bernd Leno, the German, who's normally between the sticks for the Cottagers. The likes of Alex Iwobi and Calvin Bassey are away with Nigeria at the African Cup of Nations as Tete lifts the ball in. Pereira off the post, another opportunity flashed across the face of goal from Muniz, and Fulham get the corner. The Premier League side a whisker away from extending their lead.
We got lucky, didn't we? It's just nicked the post. We're bowling for handball here, Fulham. So is it a VAR?
Well, referee Simon Hooper has his finger in his ear as Tete lifted the cross in. There is a group of players surrounding the match official, and indeed it is being checked.
I mean, it's very hard to... I mean, he's bang close on him. I mean, it's hit the post, come back out.
Well, Andreas Pereira has the ball clutched under his right armpit. Referee has got the message from VAR, David Coote. No penalty, corner.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, he should have scored it, actually. Pereira really should have scored. I mean, it was a golden opportunity when it's come back off the post. And I think it was Odoffin who's got the block. It might have even just hit him on the chest.
In comes Pereira's corner. Cleared away at the near post. Back to Pereira. It's not gone out of play. In comes a right-footed in-swinging cross. Morrison was there to win the towering header 4 yards out. Fulham looking to turn the screw once again before half-time. They already lead by a goal to nil. Pereira's in-swinger again. There was Hugill, the centre-forward, back defending. Out to De Cordova-Reid. Another ball goes in. This time it's glanced away by Eves. Out to Wilson, who shoots. A little off balance on his left boot. In the end, it screamed through the 18-yard box and was wide. A flurry of opportunities.
Yeah, I think so, but no real threat to the goal. I mean, there are a couple of crosses in the box, and it's... really, Wilson hasn't really got hold of the ball. I'm just looking there. It looks like it might be Morrison. It's hit Morrison, but obviously they've not given the pen. But I mean, Wilson for the last chance. I mean, it's come off the outside of his foot and gone out. But still in the game. That's the big thing. Still in there.
Eaves surely dragged to the ground. He was. Simon Hooper right on the spot. Issa Diop dragging Eaves back. So a free kick to the Millers then, 10 or 15 yards in front of the centre circle. 1-0 down as we approach first half stoppage time. Lucas just pulling up his socks in a central position.
Didn't he, in this just before? Maybe we get another little chance here.
So Klukas levering in the left-footed free kick, one in the air by Morrison. Drops onto the edge of the box where it's volleyed away by De Cordova-Reid. Klukas eases it back to goalkeeper Victor Johansson. I'm not entirely sure he was quite aware of the speed with which Wilson and Pereira were chasing after him, but no danger in the end for Rotherham United. Now Cafu, quiet in the first half so far. Klukas back down the line in front of the Riverside stand it goes. Then the ball is played square into Sean Morrison, who scored at Blackburn. It's his 49th career goal. It's driven up the middle of the park by the veteran centre-half. Up in the air rises Tom Eaves, but not higher than Tete, who's adjudged to have fouled Tom Eaves. Free kick.
Didn't see that, did you?
No, not really. But I suppose if you're able to jump above Tom Eaves, you must have fouled him somewhere as we enter 2 minutes of added time.
Good position again here. Better ball we need. He wants whipping in. Instead of just clipping it like a little 9-9, he wants to drive it in there. So Klukas then, little run up, dink to the edge of the box. Morrison wins it in the air, and it's nodded down there by Issa Diop. It forced Marek Rodak to scramble across his goal mouth and prevent it from going out of play for a corner, but not a massive threat on the Fulham goal. So 1-0 then on 5 Live Sports Extra and BBC Radio Sheffield as the ball is driven up the pitch by Rodak, backpedaling. It's one in the air by Sebastian Revan, whose wayward possession at the back gifted possession to De Cordova-Reid, who leathered the ball in accurately, and into the top corner it went despite the best efforts of Victor Johansson pouncing to his right. So 1-0 then to Fulham as Revan gives it away again. Only this time in the centre circle to Lukic. Lukic now to Tete, who stretches play. He's got Eaves with him stride for stride. Back down the line to Wilson, who supported well. He draws out Cafu in the process. To Lukic, to Wilson, to Lukic. A quick couple of short passes there before Lukic has it and turns 180 before going back to the centre circle again. Fulham trying to just draw Rotherham United out here, looking for a second goal. If they want to get one before half-time, there's not a great deal left, but actually on this occasion Rotherham United have stuck to their guns. They're not going to be drawn out here, and as a shape exercise, it's actually not been so bad. Simon Hooper just checked his watch and will blow his whistle, and that is that. So Fulham 1, Rotherham United 0 at half-time. Pretty good, apart from sloppy mistakes that led to an excellent goal. Yeah, I think so. I think they could be reasonably pleased in how they've played. I mean, not as an attacking force, but, defending-wise, they've done ever so well, kept the shape well. They look like they're organised. If one thing, they need to be a little bit braver when they're on the ball and keep it that little bit better. They've worked hard, the shape's good. And we've limited to very few chances. I mean, the one that hit the post has come back, and Pereira really should have scored. That was a golden opportunity, but they never looked like scoring. Until we gave away. It's the first time I've seen us play out like that. It was our goal kick. And Johansson's played a simple little pass into Revan, and Revan then can't really go anywhere, and he's tried to come inside instead of going down the line. He's come inside and give the ball away. And to be fair, Reed's come onto it and he smashed it right foot, top corner. I mean, it was a great finish. But overall, if I'm the manager now in there, and I'm thinking, I'm not happy in the way we've given the ball away in that situation. But I'm talking about being braver on the ball. Yeah, you've got to be brave, but you've got to be responsible when you get it. You've got to do the right things in the right areas. And for me, we're still in the game. It's 1-0. And we've proven if we can get at him, and if decent set plays into the box, we've got half a chance. So, fingers crossed, we're still in it.
We shall see then. Half-time then in West London. It's Fulham 1, Rotherham United 0.
Ellie Colton at breakfast.
BBC Radio Sheffield.
People that eat stuff without sauce, I cannot understand. When you have a bacon sandwich and you don't have ketchup or brown sauce, or people that don't have gravy on a roast.
Gravy's not a sauce. Gravy's gravy. It's not.
It's literally sauce.
It's not a sauce. It's gravy.
But
you have it on, but then you have a sauce on your dinner that's already got gravy on it.
Right, but it's still a liquid though, isn't it? Oh gosh, somebody's texting Stuart in Firth Park. Nicky's right, gravy's not a sauce. Moving on, blooming
Thank you, Stuart.
Ellie Colton at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6.
BBC Radio Sheffield.
So half-time then here in West London. Fulham 1, Rotherham United 0. Also in West London, early stages of the second half, Brentford 1, 10-man, Wolves 0. And 20 minutes into the game in North London, it's Tottenham 0, Burnley 0. So you're bang up to date football-wise, guiding you through the rest of half-time, Ben Ruth.
Thank you very much, Andy. We'll be back with Andy and Ronnie at Craven Cottage just in a little moment's time. You listen to BBC Radio Sheffield and 5 Live Sports Extra. I'm Ben Ruth, taking you through half-time here. Let's talk about Sheffield United now. The Blades have already recruited early in the January transfer window. They've welcomed Ben Brereton Diaz to the club today from Spanish side Villarreal on loan until the end of the season. With Chris Wilder's side currently bottom of the Premier League table, here's what the Sheffield United boss is looking for when searching for new signings.
I think what we need to make sure is that the players that are coming in really are not squad fillers. They're players that are going to make a difference, and they're the right type from a physicality point of view, from a mentality point of view, and from an ability point of view that make a difference and help the group for us to be better.
Have calls been made, even if it's ultimately acted on at the end of the window, whether the loan players go back or not?
Yeah, there's been ongoing discussions as well, and I'm sure that in that there'll be changes as well. So the whole squad has been looked at. We need to get the balance right. We've obviously got Reece Norrington-Davies coming back. Max Lowe's out, unfortunately, for a number of weeks. So they're sort of certain situations that we have to deal with, but we have to get the balance right. It's no good having 3 or 4 left backs when we possibly might need a player in a certain position. So in that there will be players that will be departing as well to balance the group up and make that group look a little bit more better in terms of that.
Forgive my ignorance if I've missed that. Max Lowe, what's happened to him?
Yeah, he missed the Man City game, and he pulled up in training. So disappointing for him. He's had a series of injuries now that have not helped him. I think that he was part of the group, and he certainly did well coming off the bench a couple of times as well. So just to lose a player like that is disappointing, and he's had a few issues over a period of months now, which has not been great for him. I think people have to recognise and realise as well that players don't want to be injured, but unfortunately he's part of that big group that there is there at the moment. And there's the likes of Sidney Peck, who's a young player, unfortunately went in for a tackle and had to have a knee operation. So that those, Andy, as you can imagine, and you will understand, they're things that unfortunately you can't get away from, being the competitive aspects of football. But certainly looking back at the soft tissue injuries, it's certainly something, whether it's into recruitment or whether it's into conditioning, that we certainly need to look at a little bit more closely.
Just finally, the easy narrative with regard to FA Cup third round days is the little guy going to the big guy. So when you're the big guy, how do you sell it to your squad? That your standards that you've set and what you expect. I'm not downplaying this game at all. It's going to be a tough game. Full respect to the opponents. We've done just as much as work on them as we did against Manchester City, and the players are under no uncertain terms know that the importance of this game. This is the biggest game of the season for us, and it's up to those players
that have the ability to impact the performance and result, to give it their best shot. I think you've worked with me long enough to know what my attitude is like, whether it's a pre-season friendly up at Stocksbridge or Worksop, or away, or a cup tie, or a game where you need to win to get promoted, or playing one of the big boys in the Premier League. You can't turn it on and off, and this will go a long way. And this is not a threat. It's not a. However the player wants to take it, if he's sat in front of me, whether it's a threat, whether it's a warning, this is a big judgment day for me on the mentality of the players, and what they're about and what makes them tick. And if they come through it and they tick all the boxes, then great. And if they don't, then obviously a doubt in my head in terms of a medium to long-term future for the players that don't produce a performance.
Chris Wilder there speaking ahead of his side's clash against Gillingham in the FA Cup third round tomorrow. We've got live coverage of that from 3 p.m. with build-up starting from 2 with Adam Oxley and former Blaze boss Billy Blackwell here on BBC Radio Sheffield and 5 Live Sports Extra.
Paulette Edwards.
I'm here every weekday morning with a bit of this.
We're having a lot of fun, but we're doing it by raising a lot of money.
And a bit of this.
The fact that I still use the phrase down with the kids shows how old
you're not down with the kids, I understand. So, and also a bit of this.
Yeah, but everybody needs a cuddle. I don't know what you're pretending that you don't need a cuddle for, Roachford. We all know that everybody does.
But I prefer real living people as opposed to stuffed toys.
And after one, I'll take you back to 2 golden years with memories and music you never get to hear on the radio.
Paulette Edwards. Weekday mornings from 10.
BBC Radio Sheffield.
Let's talk more about some FA Cup action tomorrow now. Sheffield Wednesday entertain Cardiff at Hillsborough at 5:30 kick-off. Looking to progress to the 4th round of the competition, the Owls will be looking to avoid another defeat against the Bluebirds after a 2-1 loss just a couple of weeks ago. Will Owls boss Danny Röhl see this as a chance to rest some players after the busy festive period?
Yeah, I spoke today with my players as well. Yeah, for me it's about to keep the momentum now. This is important. But for sure, we will have some players. Then we have to look how good it is that they play. If there's a risk, then it makes no sense that they play. This is for sure. But for me, it's about keep the momentum, show again a good performance, try to come in the next round for sure. Yeah, this is what we have to want and what we want to do. And but it's about a little bit to find the balance. To have the best players on the pitch who are available. And also to look, for which players it's more helpful that they have a rest because, the last weeks were very intensive for everybody.
As you sort of plan this latest part of the season, how much are you taking into account that you have had a lot of games in a short space of time? And have you adjusted schedules to try and compensate for that when you've been training?
Yeah, I think it was in the last weeks, it was not really possible to have trained. Now we come back and then we have normal weeks in the next following weeks. This is helpful for us to train, to improve our play. And then, it's about prepare the next game and come now in the period that we have to improve. And I think it's very important that we find a good balance between have high intensity training, but also sometimes it's about individual training. Maybe some guys need a bit more recovery, and this is what we have to control now with the performance and with the load.
Now that you've been at the club for a few months, I wondered if you had an opinion on what the best way to grow Sheffield Wednesday as a club is. How can it develop into something where you think, long term it could have sustained success?
Yeah, when I arrived here, I spoke about to create an identity here. I think this was important that we know, and also especially outside they know what is about Wednesday, what is the identity from Wednesday. I think we start now that we bring young players in. I think we play intensive football with high pressing, also with good ball possession. I think this is the basic. Then for sure the basic is always that you have good results to create something. I think we bring also a little bit back the self-confidence at home. You see it now. It's at home. We have good results. We take good points. we have our massive fans behind us, and I think this is what we want to do. Yeah, and for sure, to develop a club, it's first take results, be successful, and then it's step by step, to make and to create good environments as well. Yeah, it means to refresh the squad, to building up some things, also environments. I think this is also important. It's not just about the squad, because you need also off the pitch some refresh and rebuild something. This is what I want to do, what I want to try. And then, the short term, it's everybody knows the goal, what we have to do until May. And then in the summer, we can speak about the next step. But it's clear, I want to prepare both, the short term, but also the long term, what you can do here. Yeah, but step by step, important is now the next 20 games in the league, to do everything what we have to do, and then hopefully we can go in the next step and do the new things what we want to do.
Sheffield Wednesday boss Danny Röhl there speaking ahead of his side's clash against Cardiff tomorrow. Let's take you through some scores though. Latest at Brentford still. Brentford 1, Wolves 0, Wolves down to 10 men, and it's still Tottenham 0, Burnley 0. They're ready for us back at Craven Cottage with former Millers boss Ronnie Moore. But first, Andy Giddings.
Thank you very much indeed, Ben. So welcome back to Craven Cottage. The early substitutes just making their way out of the tunnel to our left-hand side. The dugouts here at Craven Cottage are on the far side of the pitch to us here on the Riverside stand. Rotherham United will soon follow. They trail here at the Premier League ground by a 1-0. There's been certain aspects of the performance that have been pretty good, but a mistake led to Bobby De Cordova-Reid's goal in the 24th minute that ultimately has the home side on top. There were a couple of VAR calls. Hugh Gill tapped in from close range, but VAR saw quite rightly that he was offside from Tom Eaves hitting the ball. It's up to you as to whether you think it was a shot or a pass. And Andreas Pereira hit the post, which ultimately led to a goalmouth scramble. That ultimately led to a VAR call for handball. Again, quite rightly not given. Ronnie Moore, former Millers player and manager, of course, is our expert summariser here in the capital. If you're Liam Richardson right now, Ronnie, what are you saying to them in there?
More of the same. To keep the ball better. I mean, what is it? Probably 75% possession for them and 25 for us. When we're in possession, keep the ball. The shape has been magnificent, to be fair. We're away from home. Our away form's been atrocious, really. But you look at the shape, the back five look like a back five. The back and the midfield three are very solid in the middle, so we're forcing them to go on the outside all the time. And they were getting no joy from it. And you couldn't see them really getting too much joy in them wide areas. And then, we just absolutely unbelievable goal that we gave away. We've cut our own throats with it, really. We just keep the ball. Revan's got it, and he's tried to come inside, gives it away, and great finish by Reid. And then we've had a little half chance. I still think that Eaves was a shot and not a pass to Ugle. He got lucky, really. He got a little ricochet, and he's probably 7-8 yards out on the angle on his right foot. In the old inside right position, and he smashed it, goes to the back post area. And then Ugle's got to look at the line and take your time and just get forward, and a little side foot in the back of the net. And he was offside, to be fair. And I think, like you said before about the VAR, they've claimed a penalty. And Revan can't get out the way. It's just smashed in against his hands. But we're still in the game. That's the big thing I'd be saying to them. Look, keep it right. Sooner or later, we're going to have to come out. Shall we do? I tell you what, don't do it straight away. Keep it tight and see what happens. Probably last 20 minutes. Let's go for it.
As Ronnie pointed out, even to the naked eye, Ronnie, good stuff. 74-26. Possession-wise. Now the stats will tell you, if you flicked on your phone at half-time and got 10 goal attempts from Fulham. Only one of them, the goal, was on target. And the reality is, apart from that, it depends on your definition of a shot on goal, really. I can't imagine Victor Johansson thinks he was particularly overworked. Rotherham United have had a couple of attempts on goal, neither on target. So Liam Richardson goes to take his place in the dugout over on the far side as the Rotherham United players stride up towards the halfway line. Those travelling Millers who've been for a cuppa or something else at half-time are just retaking their seats in the end away to our left-hand side, the Putney end here at Craven Cottage. Fulham are out and pretty much ready to start. So you're listening to BBC Radio Sheffield. You may well be listening to us online somewhere if you're in the UK via the BBC website, or you could be listening to us on 5 Live Sports Extra. Wherever you are, thank you for your company then this evening. Simon Hooper, the referee, who was not due to take charge today. Dean Whitestone was, but Hooper is a late replacement. Just checking either end. So can Rotherham United get back on terms quickly in the second half, which is now rolling? Neither manager has made a substitute at half-time. I'll run through the 2-11s in a second as Sebastian Revan takes control of the ball, gets it back to Victor Johansson, who gets height on his clearance but not distance. It will drop. The spinning ball will drop in front of Kenny Tete, but Rotherham United press Fulham back towards halfway. So the Millers then, Victor Johansson in goal, beaten, diving full stretch to his right by Bobby De Cordova. Reed, the Sweden international, is in goal. A back three of Hakeem Adoffin, Sean Morrison and Sebastian Revan. 5 in midfield, Dexter Lembikisa, Cafu, Sam Klukas, Jamie Lindsay and Cohen Bramall. Tom Eaves and Jordan Hugill are the two leading the line for the Millers up front. Tete at right full-back for Fulham. Squeezes an arcing ball in that took a nick off Reed into the feet of Rodrigo Muniz before he was knocked to the deck by Sean Morrison. So Marek Rodak, 2 seasons of Rotherham United loanee from Fulham. The Slovakians not had a great deal to do in goal. Tete, Adara Bayoyo, Diop and Castagna the back four. Reed and Lukic protect that back four, but frankly they've been able to get forward at will. So too of Harry Wilson, Bobby De Cordova, Reed the goal scorer, and Andreas Pereira leading the line up top. Rodrigo Muniz, Phillips, Kelly, Bola, Rathbone, Peltier, Tihi, Nombe, Appiah and McGuckin are on the Millers bench. Here's Andreas Pereira taking the free kick right-footed, and in the end whipped it, central position, a little to the right perhaps of that centre, 25 yards out, straight over the crossbar of Victor Johansson.
Yeah, never threatened at all from where he was. Like I say, I mean, you've got to be ambitious to beat the keeper from there. I mean, he's such a good keeper. I mean, it's got to go somewhere near the top corner for that, and it was too straight and too high. At least we've learned our lesson. We're not trying to play out now.
Yet. So Fulham 1, Rotherham United 0 then here at Craven Cottage in leafy West London, as Adara Bayoyo just stepped past Hugill to win the header, but then Hugill makes a nuisance of himself and wins a header of his own above Thomas Catania, but it rolls back towards Marek Rodak, a promotion winner in 2018 with Rotherham United in the Richard Wood final, as it were, at Wembley Stadium. Incidentally, Ronnie, our colleague from BBC London who sat to my left-hand side, who was at Wembley when Rotherham United beat Sutton, he's their Sutton aficionado, walked past us with 2 massive trays of food at half-time and just didn't drop any in our direction.
No, it's not fair, is it?
Disgraceful behaviour. Although for those of you that are listening back in South Yorkshire, for the first time ever of the 4 or 5 trips I've had to Fulham, it was cottage pie for the cottagers. That's never happened before. So Fulham 1, Rotherham United 0, driven up and across halfway by Victor Johansson. As I say, Bobby De Cordova Reed's goal in the first half continues to separate the two sides, but there's kind of a first gear nature about the start of the second half.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, it's Fulham again in possession, but just pitter-patter, back forwards, back again. Not really, just enjoying the ball, really. They look like they've got 2 or 3 more gears to go to if they need to. We need to just get that better. But
Wilson with an arcing ball, teasing into the path of Castagna, who centres into Reed, whose first time shot is blocked by a diving Sean Morrison, who flung himself in the way, and in the end the ball squirrels away for a corner.
Yeah, great little bit of football. I mean, it comes out wide and it's pulled back, and what a strike. I mean, Morrison's got his body right across. It ends up hitting him on the thigh, throws his legs and his body across. I mean, this is a great ball pulled back. Now you'd think Reed it was, wasn't it, who's had the strike, and it's tremendous block.
Cohen Bramall took some kind of injury in the lead up to that corner and is crouched down off the field of play. Oh, he's not off the field of play as things stand. Andreas Pereira has left the ball on the left corner quadrant and come in field just to have a word with one or two of his teammates. There are one or two concerned looking faces on the Rotherham United bench on the far side. The last thing Rotherham United need now or at any time, Ronnie Moore, is a defensive injury.
It's unreal, isn't it, how many injuries you've had centre back and full back positions. But I mean, who's he going to throw on there if he needs to? Probably Bowler. It'll be interesting to see, but he's up, but he put his hand up, and I don't like, sometimes, you know, that's a sign that it's a bad injury or
well, he's hobbled off the field of play. The camera, we have little monitors in front of us here at Craven Cottage. The camera's just flashed on Liam Richardson, who has a concerned look on his face, as Andreas Pereira goes back out to take the corner hit with a low trajectory in at the near post. It's cleared away, almost as far as Pereira once again.
He's limping, Bramall. He's not coming back by the looks of that.
No, he's now watching as Pereira bends in the cross, and Rotherham United might take him off anyway as Castagna gets there at the dead ball line, crossing as Lembikisa's glancing backward header turns the ball to Pereira once again. Pereira with the shock blonde highlights. Out it comes to Wilson, who gets good bend on his left-footed effort. Central position, 25 yards out, straight to Victor Johansson.
Yeah, like I say, you're not beating him from there. I mean, they can shoot all day. I mean, Wilson, he's got to be 25 yards out. It's like a cross-come shot, really, straight into Johansson's hand.
Well, Victor Johansson, the highly rated, bearded goalkeeper from Stockholm, will deliver the ball at the centre of the pitch, all the way in above Tom Eaves, goalkeeper to goalkeeper. Haven't seen that for a while. 52 gone, FA Cup third round football, Fulham against Rotherham United. Fulham lead thanks to a first half goal from Reed here on Radio Sheffield and 5 Live Sports Extra.
He's really struggling, Bramall here. He's come back on. There's no way he can carry on, surely.
No, he's grimacing, and an opportunity to run after the ball there, not taken, sensibly so. Well, now he's running, but he'll pull up, Bramall, as Revan goes toe-to-toe with Victor Johansson's lost the ball here as Kenny Tete crossed the ball in. A moment's Harry Carey inside the penalty area, and now potentially a counter-attack. Cafu into Hugill, he holds up the ball. A quick glance again to Bramall, who's continuing to hobble. Substitutions not really warming up on the far side as it's driven long. Cushion downward header from Wilson into Tete. So Fulham get it back, but Rotherham United's concern will be for Cohen Bramall.
I can't believe nobody's changed at the moment. I mean, he looks like he's struggling there, but he's just starting to get somebody changed now.
Yeah, possibly so. He's moved freer at times than perhaps at others since he went down through injury, as Wilson threads the ball past Cafu into the feet of Muniz. The more muscular available centre forward for Fulham. Fulham do have quite a few superstars on the bench should things get a little tricky for them later in the game. The likes of Jimenez and Willian, Vinicius up to the edge of the box, cleared away by Rotherham United.
But give away, that's where you've got to be brave. Be brave on the ball, you don't have to kick it. He's on the edge of our box, keep it.
Well, Hakeem Adofin went into a 50-50 with Thomas Castagna. Believed all along that he was going to get the decision from the match officials to say that it's going to be a goal kick, and indeed he was right, despite the
Bramall's down,
claiming hand of Thomas Castagna. And yeah, Bramall's gone down again, sat backwards. Muniz has gone to have a word, and now Rotherham United might be forced into making a change here on Football Heaven on BBC Radio Sheffield. Not before time, Ronnie.
No, and didn't we get lucky there with Johansson? It's like a bar of soap in his hand. Get hold of it, slipped out again, and at last, he's tried, to be fair, he's come back on, but you could see as soon as he'd come on, he was limping and grimacing.
Lee Peltier's coming on.
Yeah,
so
with his experience,
he's made a timely return from injury, Ronnie.
I would imagine he'll throw Revan back to the left back spot, and Peltier will go and play centre half with Morrison and Adoffin.
So Lee Peltier then, with all of his experience from hundreds and hundreds of appearances across the EFL predominantly, former Liverpool youngster, will come on, and as Ronnie Moore predicts, a few backward steps from Sebastian Revan, so he's now wing back, and Peltier slots in on the left of a back three. So 56 minutes of the match. The Fulham fans are urging Rotherham United to get a move on here, as Victor Johansson just takes his time here, wastes a few seconds on the clock before he steps up and strikes it down the middle of the pitch. And these are the kind of things, those delaying tactics, that might just provide an opportunity to frustrate Fulham and give them something to think about. Marek Rodak still to have a save to make, although he does have the ball at his feet currently. He was passed the ball by centre-half Tosin Adara-Bayoyo, and now walking it out from the back, Issa Diop. Cost West Ham £22 million from Toulouse. Less so in coming here, as he receives the ball back, work towards halfway. And if Rotherham United are to try and create some kind of FA Cup fairy tale, they need to put their socks on, as it were.
Well, they need to up the tempo, don't they? I mean, it's just cruise control at the moment. You might as well be 2-0, at least trying to get back in the game and have a go. I mean, there's still plenty of time. I mean, it's only 50 odd minutes into the game.
Listeners online throughout the UK tomorrow can listen to BBC Radio Sheffield coverage of Gillingham against the Blades and Watford against Chesterfield. And now Hakeem Adoffin trying to race through the Fulham back line here, as Tom Eaves, with a towering header, did his best to set him up, but there were plenty in white in the way, and it's cleared away. We'll also have commentary of Wednesday against Cardiff on all frequencies from 5:30. Harrogate against Doncaster is our commentary in League 2. Football Heaven back on Monday as ever. 0800 111 49 49. Cafu nudged in the back there by the ginger-haired Harrison Reed. Pushed back towards Victor Johansson. BBC Radio Sheffield. Now Hakeem Adoffin just shows a little bit of pace building out from the back before he overhits the pass to Jamie Lindsay, which he can't control. Now a defter touch there from Tom Eaves, but it wasn't strong enough to pick out the Scott Lindsay on halfway, and Fulham get the ball back. Now
too easy. Got to keep the ball there. Why try and play that first time? It's a great ball into his feet. Get hold of it, tuck it in, and it allows the back five to come forward. They're in here.
Here they are in, and breaking in behind. Castagna sets up the cross. It will bounce once in the penalty area. Brought under control by Kenny Tete. Tete's closed down by Revan, who stuck to him like glue, blocks the cross, and behind it goes for a corner at the Hammersmith end.
Yeah, it's the first time they've actually played through us. It's been so tight in there. He's not been able to play through the lines, but it was too easy, too simple. Well, luckily enough, the final ball in wasn't good enough, and it ended up getting a little ricochet and going out for the corner.
So corner on the near side to Fulham. Harrison Reed goes over to take it. The ball is struck. Left-footed, out to the edge of the box. De Cordova-Reid, little bit of a goalmouth scramble before a shot on the turn from Andreas Pereira, and he spun the ball behind.
It should have been a corner, yeah.
It should have been a corner. It is in the end a corner. Andreas Pereira well, perhaps quite rightly, but he looked like a child who'd had a sweet taken off him. But, well, I suppose he was right. And in the end, the shot on the turn from the inside right position didn't touch Sebastian Revan, and it will be a corner.
It started with Reed again, who found all that space and had the volley. I mean, somebody's got to pick him up.
Pereira bends in the corner, and Issa Diop thunders a header goalwards, and it's parried away. In fact, the charging header was Tosin Adarabayoyo. Strong-armed his man out of the way, but in the end, a one-handed save from Victor Johansson.
Absolutely brilliant save, but free header, too strong.
Pereira with the corner from the near side, in it goes into the penalty area. It's cannoned off the head of a Rotherham United player. To be honest, I thought it hit Rodrigo Muniz then, but the match officials think that it came off of Miller, and it will be a corner. In comes said corner from the near side, the right. Fulham 1, Rotherham United 0. Nothing came of it on this occasion. Wilson then gets it back. Looking left, then looking to his right. Pereira receives the ball. A lovely little flick with his non-standing leg to bring in Wilson. In goes the ball. The heads will rise. The tallest of the lot of them is Sean Morrison, jumping well on the edge of the box, clearing the ball away. Fulham come again here. The Premier League side starting to just speed up a little bit here. 61st minute of the match. They want to kill this game off as a contest. They lead 1-0. The goal scorer Bobby Reed takes the ball on the far side, shuffling it back to Pereira. There's one or two olays as Fulham take their pass count into double figures. Rotherham United chase them back to halfway, but Fulham, who are 13th in the Premier League, never look anything but casual in possession. And now here's Adarabayoyo getting it, receiving it, the centre half looking, pointing, gesticulating, organising as Lukic shows for him, and now Wilson again on the near side. Football Heaven on BBC Radio Sheffield. Tete will turn over the ball. Can Rotherham United make more of a contest of this game, or is it just a backs to the walls job for the remaining half an hour of the match? Adarabayoyo into Pereira, who skims the ball along the surface with the outside of his right boot. Lovely football. In goes the cross, takes a deflection into the side netting. Corner to Fulham.
Yeah, patient though. They've been patient in the build-up. We've been patient defensively. Nobody came out. Nobody got tempted to come out and create the space behind for that, and that's what they wanted. And you know, they've got a corner eventually from having about 25 passes on it, but we were organised.
So Andreas Pereira has gone over to take it at the famous Hammersmith end here at Craven Cottage. The ball is bent in. Good whip on the ball. In fact, a little too much as Victor Johansson just watches it onto the roof of his net, and danger averted. So in this FA Cup third round tie, Fulham still lead by a goal to nil. But Millers fans, it's by and large been one-way traffic.
Yeah, it's definitely been one way. But we knew it would be, to be fair. It's just being patient now for us. There's still half an hour, just over half an hour, just under half an hour to go. So there's still plenty of time. Still 1-0, still in the game, but we need to get on the ball. Like I say, be braver on it. Don't kick it long all the time. Don't be afraid to get on the ball, play it, pass it, move it. But we've got no width at the moment. We can't seem to, you know, the three midfield players have worked hard chasing, but we've done nothing when we're on the ball, to be honest.
Well, as things stand, Rotherham United are heading to a 29 straight away game without a win. That victory against Sheffield United at Bramall Lane 14 months ago. Ronnie Moore, you can't quite believe it, even though Rotherham United at second tier level away from home don't chalk up that many wins.
I know, I mean,
so
to be fair,
unbelievable in that sense.
It's a long time, innit? I mean, that was, I mean, I was at that game when he won that. And they've been unlucky in one or two games, but we like I said in the past, we've not been brave away from home. You know, we've played one up front, we've gone long all the time. The lone striker is so hard to play, but we've got two strikers here. I mean, Eves now is going off, so...
Yeah, Sam Nombe is coming on, the £1 million man. He's done well today, Tom Eves, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's worked hard.
About a bit.
You know, not many chances. I still think that was a chance that he had. He might swear blind that he picked Ugle out on the back post, but it certainly looked like a missed kick straight to Ugle, to be honest.
Ollie Rathbone is coming on.
Energy, yeah, you can see that. At least he'll try and get beyond the front two as well. Being too static in there.
And Teehee is coming on for Klukas.
Yeah, it's better. There's more mobility in there now. Klukas is the one more experienced. He's going to have to sit, I would have thought, and let the other two try and join in and go beyond the front two.
Plus the fact that Sam Klukas hasn't played a lot of football, so is still trying to get back relative levels of fitness. So Rotherham United then here in the capital in West London, trailing Fulham by a goal to nil. So midfield three of Teehee, Rathbone and Lindsay now.
Lindsay's the other one who's going to push on. It looks like Teehee's going to be the one who sits just in front of the back. So at least it looks like we might be getting one or two more shots on target with a little bit of luck.
Well, certainly, as you point out, mobility has increased a lot. Here is Rathbone, who is very energetic in his style, as he sees Revan volley it forward onto Adara Bayoyo, flicked on then by, I think it was Muniz there, but Victor Johansson has the ball at the back, just taking an extra second or two. So Rotherham United then in the red shirts with the white sleeves, playing from right to left as we look here on BBC Radio Sheffield. Looking for an opportunity here in West London to try and get back on terms, and there is a little over a quarter of the game to go to try and cause what would be an FA Cup upset here at the Premier League cottages. A night and a weekend of FA Cup football. Well, I can certainly attest to the fact that tonight's game has been infinitely more interesting than Crystal Palace against Everton last night, VAR calls or not. Later stages of the match at Brentford. Brentford 1, Wolves 1, 10-man Wolves equalising, no goals at half-time between Tottenham and Burnley. As the ball rises from Adara Bayoyo, a stooping Harrison Reed concedes a throw-in on the near side, and Lee Peltier, number 21 on his back, who's made a speedy recovery from a hamstring injury, gets it into the feet of Ollie Rathbone, who just tries to shrug off the attentions of Wilson. In the end, he gets a little bit of breathing space from him and brings in Sean Morrison. Then Lindsay, Teehee, 10 yards behind the centre circle. He looks up the Ivorian, throws a dummy infield to the centre circle now, and Rathbone down the line to Revan, whose mistake ultimately gifted the opportunity to De Cordova-Reid to score. Rotherham United enjoying much more of the ball in the last 2 or 3 minutes than I think they've enjoyed in the previous 60 odd.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Be it going back, you can't go forward, we still kept it. Now it's opened up a little gap, just gone long too big again.
And Lembikis is after it, legs working, but Castagna always had the left back area covered, and the Belgian watched it drop out of play, and it will be a throw in to Fulham. 700-800 Millers fans here. Now maybe all of them haven't come from Rotherham, but most of them will. That's a cracking effort just after Christmas.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and one or two of them will be happy, one or two won't be too happy with him. You know what it's like, you can't please everybody all the time, but the vast majority, I think, will think we've done alright, but we've done alright defensively and not really creating anything. I want to see the wing backs here making more forward runs, trying to gamble now and come out. Revan on one side, Lembikisa on the other one. But we can't seem to get the ball in them wide areas so we can whip some balls. I mean, we had two big giants in the strikers just a minute ago. How many crosses have come in? I don't think we've had 4 crosses in the whole game.
No, that's certainly true. And now the height of the attack has lessened a little bit. Nombe chases after Diop, but ultimately the big defender gets it back to Marek Rodak. The 27-year-old has had a quiet night so far in the Fulham goal. Here's Diop, who stands over the ball. Nobody really pressing him, so he looks to his right-hand side and picks out Tosin Adara Bayoyo. Reed drops short from midfield to receive the ball into Wilson. with the short dark hair. Back to Reid, the chasers, Rathbone, and now Hugh Gill charges after Tosin Adarabayoyo into the centre circle. Reid's gone after it. Rathbone just gets a nudge on the ball with his sliding tackle, but Fulham aren't without the ball or control of the ball for long here on Football Heaven on BBC Radio Sheffield. Games like this are always something of an education, aren't they, Ronnie? Because never on this earth are they going to play a match like this in the Championship.
No.
Even against Leicester.
No, I mean, it is a learning curve as well for us. I mean, but I must admit, I have been pleased in the way that we have defenders as a unit and as a team. It's just that when we've got he's in.
Wilson might have ghosted through here. Rathbone goes shoulder to shoulder, buffeting with Wilson. Both of them end up in a heap. It will be a corner, says Simon Hooper.
That's another decent ball in. I mean, I think you got it right, the referee. I mean, Wilson and Rathbone both going for the ball, but it was too easy with a little ball played inside. First time it's happened to us, and he's gone for it. There's no way that's a penalty. We're just got to make sure they don't score here. That 14 coming round the back again, Reid. Adoffin's got him this time, so at least he's being picked up.
Well, the corner routine there didn't work at all there for Fulham, and Sebastian Revan well is it out of play and into touch. Andreas Pereira and Wilson are having a go at the linesman. It was taken.
It wasn't 10
by
yards,
Wilson.
was he?
Yeah, it wasn't 10 yards, and Revan's knocked it away. So corner. Respotted on the corner quadrant on the near side, more successfully this time, and it's swept by Wilson to Lukic. Now to Reid, who plays a bending ball wide to the near side once again, and Pereira. Everybody
was in
for Fulham behind this, and then Nombe shooting out, and he got something on the ball, and it's loose, picked up by Rathbone on the halfway line. Back they go to Morrison. Morrison now into Adoffin, and all of a sudden, just when you thought they're running more for a split second, counter-attacks on. It didn't quite happen.
Nombe, I thought he was there. He was just unlucky, got a toe poke on it, and the defenders just managed to get his toe on it.
Well, Peltier with three would-be chasers in white chips the ball up to Sean Morrison. Two former Cardiff men interchanging passes outside of the penalty area, but now here's Victor Johansson, the goalkeeper for Rotherham United, into the feet of Sebastian Revan. Back to Peltier. Now it's Fulham's turn to do a little bit of the chasing, but it is they who have the lead. Wide to Hakeem Adoffin. They go long, and Nombe's got the beating of Diop. He's stolen on his outside. Here is Nombe turning over the ball on the edge of the penalty area. Needs some support. Diop stuck to him like glue. There it comes from Lembakisa. Infield to Rathbone. Rotherham United forced to retreat, but back they go towards halfway. Just hear one or two moans and groans as Teehee drags the ball onto his right boot, turns, gets the call from Lindsay. Lindsay has support out wide from Sebastian Revan. He's closed down by Kenny Tete. To Peltier. Here on Football Heaven on BBC Radio Sheffield and 5 Live Sports Extra, it's Peltier once again getting the ball from Teehee.
It's good,
looking for
possession.
options.
Good possession, we've kept it well.
Can they draw Fulham out of their comfort zone here at Craven Cottage in this FA Cup third round tie? Back it comes to Peltier. He looks up right-footed, swings the ball across the defence now to Hakeem Adoffin. Now again. He goes long, and it's Rathbone. Legs pumping, he's after it. Diop coolly heads it away from the edge of the penalty area, and with that long right leg, it's gone for a throw-in far side.
A great build-up play. We've kept the ball well. 20-odd passes there. It must have been, and then Rathbone. That's the energy. Great run into space and a great ball over the top.
Well, Carlos Vinicius is coming on for the home side, number 30, the Brazilian.
They're not bad subs, are they, really?
No, they're all right. Harry Wilson is coming off as well, and Willian, who caused Sheffield United all sorts of problems in the Premier League And Harrison Reed is going off as well. And Tom Kearney's coming on.
Well, they're not bad 3 subs then. Oh.
It's one of those moments when you kind of realise, or it's there in stark technicolor, what you're up against as Willian comes onto the field, the highly decorated Brazilian. In comes the ball, and the long throw-in looped into the 6-yard box of Marek Rodak, and it was somehow knocked behind off Miller, but not comfortably.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I mean, it's a great throw. It's come off the keeper. It's the keeper who's got his hands to it in the end. No, he's got that wrong.
So Marek Rodak will take the goal kick, and only that. But Rotherham United are starting to show a little bit more in the attacking sense here at Craven Cottage. 1-0 down. They have 15 minutes plus any added extras to try and get something out of this game. Possibly a replay, possibly more. Fulham, for all of their possession, have only really worked Victor Johansson a couple of times, in addition to obviously scoring the goal. But a high crossfield punt in Dexter Lembekisa's direction was way off target, and it veered behind for a goal.
Well, it's exactly what they want. I mean, you know, Fulham, we've got possession of the ball 10 yards inside our half, and then Peltier's trying to play a 70-yard ball to Lembekisa doing the overlap. It's just not on. Why don't we carry on the way we were playing before, keeping the ball, being brave on the ball? We've got 15 minutes to try and nick a goal here. Don't invent the pass when it's not there.
Here's Willian looking crossfield. He's skied his pass onto the chest of Kenny Tete on the bench against Arsenal. Gets the start today. Takes on Sebastian Revan. Cuts him past the young Aston Villa loanee. Finds support in Pereira. I have to say, he's been everywhere, hasn't he?
Yes.
Pereira, perhaps
Quality.
He's easily identifiable, but he's never more than about 15 yards away from the ball as Issa Diop gallops forward from the back. Crossing position, and Diop was the man who got the final touch, firing the effort onto the advertising hoardings. He hit it straight. A deflected effort would have given Victor Johansson something to think about.
Yeah, it's a great run, to be fair. His left ugle and his weight, really. Played a little 1-2. Ball's being dragged back. Typical centre half. A good job went to the striker there. I mean, really, it was a left footer. If he just waits, it's come down, it's come back on. He's got with his right foot, put it 4 yards past the post. But nice little run from them.
So it's football heaven, and it's 5 Live Sports Extra, and it's online. It's FA Cup football on the BBC. I wonder what stories will unfold, not least in this game, but across the weekend. BBC Radio Sheffield and look, all BBC platforms have got you covered. As Marek Rodak, with Sam Nombe bearing down on him, smashes the ball to halfway.
He's done well, Nombe, since he's come on. He's lively, he's quick, got a bit of pace, gets in there. Not bad in the air. Well, he should be. We paid £1 million for him.
Well, there's that. Perhaps should have scored against Sunderland in the last league game that I saw, and was a little unfortunate not to do so. But here the ball is swept by Vinicius away from Teehee, and Fulham have it once again. Wide it goes to Willian. 4 goals this season, Sheffield United being one of them. He got a couple against Wolves and West Ham. A highly decorated player with Chelsea, Shakhtar Donetsk. As here is De Cordova-Reid, whose arrowed effort from 18 and 19 yards is the difference between the two sides. Now Pereira underneath Peltier. They've had a good little tussle there, and Peltier has come away with the ball, releasing Nombe, who takes on Adara Bayoyo, goes round the outside of the defender. Cuts back, needs some support, gets it from Rathbone. He stretches but can't get there. Teehee tidies up, works it to the right hand side, and Lembekisa, left footed, low ball, scuffed, very poor. Fulham will walk it out from the back.
I mean, great bit of football, to be fair. It's from left to right. We've kept the ball really well. Peltier was fantastic in winning the ball. It goes out to Lembekisa on that right hand side. He pulls it back on his left foot and just gives it away straight to the Fulham defender.
Well, Peter Kioso is coming back. He'll have a shirt for the match against Stoke City, or at least he'll be in the squad. He's had a fine season with Peterborough, but was always a Rotherham United player. So we'll see what the future holds then for Dexter Lembikisa. He has scored against Norwich this year, but the last few weeks he's been decidedly out of form. Here's Sebastian Revan cantering forward with De Cordova-Reid to his right-hand side. Closed down well as Morrison gets it, gives it, interchanges passes with Hakeem Odoffin. Pereira chases, but Rotherham United control possession of the football. Then the threaded ball from Teehee is intercepted on the diag towards Revan. And now Fulham have it back once again with Adara Bayoyo. Scored the third of the 5 against West Ham as Fulham thumped the Hammers 5-0 a little earlier in the campaign. Here he is again, cantering across halfway to Teehee, whose last goal was in the 4-3 against Liverpool. Swirling cross, glancing header away to Willian. There's a little raise in intensity when the ball drops at his feet. He squares the short pass into the feet of Kearney. But Rotherham United defend, keep their shape. Fulham can't go anywhere, and now here's Issa Diop at the back.
Yeah, they've done well, defended really, really well. Limited to so many few chances.
Tete after it, Revan. And Revan with a crunching sliding tackle. The ball is whipped into the Johnny Haynes stand. When Ronnie and I were queuing up to get our press accreditation outside, we were stood next to the bronze Johnny Haynes statue. There is many nods of history in the stand that we are in, not least the wooden seating, to be fair. But the rest of Craven Cottage is brisk and modern. Lembikisa's going off Ronnie Moore.
Yeah,
it's not been his day again.
No, it's not. No, I mean it's certainly not defensive wise. I mean he's not learnt that trade yet. He's miles off on the other defensive qualities. So yeah, it will be interesting what's going to happen now. The Kioso coming back. Does he send him back in the window and maybe get another striker or another centre back? And he's looking for a centre back, isn't he? So be interesting to see who that is.
Yeah, Boller has come on to replace him for the closing stages of the match. Have you ever seen a contract where both sides have to agree to the return of a loan? Is that a regular occurrence?
Well, no, I couldn't help but laugh when I heard it. It was just ridiculous. I mean, whoever set that deal up, it's just not on. It's ridiculous. I mean, he's your player, and yet you agree to it, and they disagree. They want to keep him. It's bonkers, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, you're doing them a favour by loaning the player out, and then both parties have got to agree with it. No, someone's made a right rick there.
Arvin Appiah, I beg your pardon, was the substitute for Rotherham United. Robinson, who almost signed for Sheffield United, is coming on. So it's a more orthodox left full-back for a makeshift one. And Fulham ringing the changes now. Late on here,
Pereira's gone off. That's a godsend for us.
Indeed it is. So Tyrese Francois will take his place on the field of play, sporting the number 35. So Football Heaven on BBC Radio Sheffield, live at Craven Cottage. Lots of reaction to come on our various different platforms. bbc.co.uk/Radio Sheffield, and at Football Heaven, our Twitter address, as Rathbone shuffles the ball in field to Teehee. First time pass from him, it's rolled backwards towards halfway before a ball there for Lindsay to chase down the far side. Diop's had it covered. In the end, the Millers fans think that Diop is backing unnecessarily into Jamie Lindsay. Both players end up in a heap over the whitewash of the dead ball line.
Mismatch there, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. Why does Diop need to back into Jamie Lindsay?
I know, all he's doing is shielding the ball, and he's just stopping him from getting anywhere near him.
Any chance of a foul? Not really.
No.
And Lindsay ends up flat on his back, Diop with him. So here is Marek Rodak. 16 caps for Slovakia now, full international caps. He was an under-21 international when he was with Rotherham United in the latter stages of being eligible to qualify for that. Here he is now with the ball at his feet, shuffling it out to the far side. Fulham 1, Rotherham United 0. The closing stages of what essentially has been a fairly low-key cup tie as Anthony Robinson stretches play down the far side. The American international fires in the cross. Into the air it goes. Sebastian Revan nods it away from De Cordova-Reid. Then Fulham smuggle it back. Tete trying to get it back from the dead ball line. Rathbone goes after it. His pressure on the ball forces the heavy pass back down the middle of the pitch. Here's the number 10 for Fulham, Tom Cairney. Cairney then walks it into midfield to Lukic. The Serbian keeps it moving now to Diop. To Robinson, chipped over the top, and the number 35, Tyrese Francois, raced after it in behind, but he had no chance of getting there. Victor Johansson is able just to gather it up, and it remains 1-0. Rotherham United now seeking moments. They had a bit of possession, didn't really do a great deal with it, but now is there a moment for Rotherham United? At 1-0, no game is ever over. But something special needs to happen from here on in.
Stupid free kick. Ugle going for there. He's just whacked straight into the two lads there. It's going to take something special, to be honest. You know, we have been a threat really from set plays more than anything. In general play, not created anything. So we need a little bit of magic or a little bit of fortune for us to get anything out the game now, I think.
High ball over the top, and Vinicius waited for it to drop. It bundled off his knee and goes behind from the edge of the penalty area. He turns with a grimace on his face as the ball goes behind for a goal kick. Tomorrow, Gillingham against the Blades. Commentary of that on BBC Radio Sheffield and online to UK users only. We'll follow Chesterfield to Watford. That's our digi commentary tomorrow afternoon. All together for Sheffield Wednesday against Cardiff at 5:30, and before all of the FA Cup football, League 2 action, Harrogate against Doncaster Rovers will be on air incidentally at 12:30 tomorrow, so don't miss a kick with us. And then we'd love you to talk about it in football heaven. 0800 treble 149 at 49. Final 4 minutes of play left here at Craven Cottage on Radio Sheffield and 5 Live Sports Extra. Revan has the ball in his hand, taking the throw-in, infield to Sam Nombe, who turned away from Tete, but into Lukic, and the Serbia international wins the ball back. Now Diop has it once again, to Adara Bayoya, to Tete, who's on the halfway line. The ball in field is there to be won, but in the end a lunge from Hakeem Adofin is the best the Millers can muster here at Craven Cottage. Marco Silva stands on the edge of his technical area, long dark overcoat, just shuffling left and right. Perhaps more sterner tester to follow for them. They've got the League Cup semi-final on the horizon with Liverpool in the coming days. The first leg of that's next week, I think.
Yeah, Wednesday, I think.
Rotherham manager Ronnie Moore will be switching hats for those two games. So here's Ken inching forward on the near side. Wide it goes to Tete. In goes the cross, and then a nudge. Can't have been more than that, off the knee of Tyrese Francois as he made contact with the ball, inches inside the penalty area. The effort was deflected goalwards, but there was no pace on it, and it was caught by Victor Johansson.
Not really an agency, is it? We don't look like we want to get back in the game. You know, it sounds stupid thing to say, but we're passing it back from the. Let's get it in their half now. This is the time when you really, you know, I'm saying we need to keep the ball, early on, but now we're into the last 3 or 4 minutes. We've got to get in and test the back.
There really is nothing to lose now. A goal down in this FA Cup third round tie. Rotherham United need a bit of something if they want to at least force a replay. Here's Lindsay, waiting for the ball to roll into his feet. Now to Sebastian Revan. Is this the time when Rotherham United can build for a moment? Nombe playing the ball square into Teehee. It's laid into the centre circle for Peltier to quickly control it and shift it wide to the far side. A chance now for Apaya.
That's awful.
And that is what the former Rotherham United manager Paul Warne would describe as honking. 10 yards in from the far touchline. He really has wellied that high and over the 18-yard box, and it drops out of play for a goal kick, but frankly it nearly hit the corner flag.
Yeah, it was awful. You know, for professional football, he's not my type of player anyway. You know, he doesn't fill me full of juice and only watching him play. It's just, you know, his end product is non-existent really, and that was awful for a professional footballer to whip it back on his left foot and knock it out of play when, you know, we're on 88 minutes. Put it in the danger area, whip it in with a bit of pace on it.
Well, perhaps another one for whom question marks persist throughout the month. He is on loan from Almeria in Spain, so decisions for Liam Richardson to be made. So a throw in then, which Sean Morrison will take. 32 years old now, had his injury problems at Rotherham United, but has played very well in recent matches and has played a lot of football in the last 4 or 5 matches. As here it's Nombe. Back it comes now to Lukic, who stretches things down the near side. Lukic bends in the cross. It's as bad as Apaya's pretty much. There is a Fulham man who's gone down, Vinicius, in the penalty area, but I didn't actually see if there was any contact made on him, and he's only doing his best to complain like everybody else does. Simon Hooper's not bothered, and play continues. So we've had time. We've just entered 5 minutes of time to be added on. Incidentally, listeners to BBC Radio Sheffield will be guided through until 10 o'clock by Ben Ruth from the studio. Another incidental happening. Brentford 1, Wolves 1 is a full-time score. Wolves equalising with 10 men. No goals as yet between Spurs and Burnley. Here's the defender Anthony Robinson over on the far side. Former Wigan man, started at Everton, but miscontrolling on that occasion. And on the Riverside side here at Fulham, on the banks of the Thames, it will be a throw-in to the Millers with time ticking. Can they? This sounds glib, but actually it's a reality. Can they get a shot on target for the travelling fans? Tete bends the ball in. Glanced away, brought under control by Rathbone. It's turned to the near side. He's got some space to exploit. Jet Healdy gets to halfway. Rathbone looks up, lays the short ball into Lindsay. Lindsay, a more cushioned, casual ball to Morrison. And now Teehee shoved in the back by Tyrese Francois. And Victor Johansson will come forward to take the free kick. Johansson then, as those with the red shirts and the white sleeves just manoeuvre forward. Fulham have a fairly high line, 10 or 15 yards outside of the penalty box. Wide it goes to Apaya, trying to stretch play. Jinks in field past the first challenge, gets it to Teehee. Is there a cross coming here? Peltier gets on the ball. The cross is fired to the edge of the box, hit with a low trajectory, dealt with off the forehead of Diop, and away it goes. Now potential for a counter-attack for Fulham, but snuffed out by Sebastian Revan. Tom Kearney was the furthest forward for the home side, and then Victor Johansson drills it up the middle of the pitch. Nombe causes a problem for Diop, but then he just shrugs Nombe out of the way, and Nombe's flat on his back as Diop levers it to the far side. Victor Johansson's now swirling his hands, saying, look, everybody up. Victor Johansson walks it out of his 18-yard box. Can they fashion something here? Driven long against the Premier League side, flicked on by Hugill. Apaya's after it, Diop's got it covered, and in the end it goes out of play.
Route 1, see, it doesn't work, does it?
Not really.
You know, and I'm saying we're going wide areas to Appiah out there from the goalkeeper. It's got to go. Whip it right down the middle and let them two lads fight for it. Any little flick on there, you just don't know what's going to happen. But the lack of agency when you're 1-0 down is, it's a little bit frustrating, really.
Well, there's a little ripple of excitement from the travelling fans. They've got an attacking throw-in, and they've had one or two problems caused, Fulham, by Sean Morrison's attacking throw-ins. Now would be a good time to cause a real problem. 93.5 minutes of the game played, 90 seconds left. Morrison spears the throw-in into the penalty area. Anthony Robinson stoops to get the header away. Francois after it, buffeted left and right there by Teehee, who keeps him penned in.
Corner,
and it will be a throw-in, another one. Well, at least Rotherham United fans can clap and cheer the advent of an attacking throw-in here with a minute of added time to go. You never know. Final minute of added time to go. Morrison, a little semicircled run-up. This one goes high into the penalty area. Rathbone with the header, volleyed away by Vinicius. Out it comes. Revan, poleaxed by Kearney. Willian leads the counter-attack, driving Fulham up the centre of the pitch. They lead 1-0. In it comes, shooting chance for Carlos Vinicius. Straight at Victor Johansson. Quickly it's over on Bold. 30 seconds to get an equaliser here at Craven Cottage. Play is stretched. Rathbone takes on Francois. Needs a better runner. Takes it past Francois himself. Rathbone manoeuvring laterally. He might lose possession. Hakeem Adoffin helps him out. And all of a sudden, things go from a speedy trot to a canter.
Just a mad 30 seconds, wasn't it? One long ball, one counter-attack.
Teehee gets caught in two minds. Adoffin. Now Teehee again, losing out on halfway. And the referee calls full-time. Fulham 1, Rotherham United 0 here at Craven Cottage. A first-half strike from Bobby De Cordova-Reid, who rattled in his shot from about 18 or 19 yards after some woeful possession at the back. The guilty party, Sebastian Revan, but it was a good finish. After that, Fulham were in cruise control and didn't really create a great deal until Carlos Vinicius, in 5 minutes of added time, fired a shot straight at Victor Johansson. It's been a fairly low-key night.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it looked like we were happy to lose 1-0, and it's an FA Cup game. It's not a league game, it's an FA Cup game. Last 10 minutes, I'm just waiting for us to put a little bit more pressure onto them. I think the game plan that Liam's had has been good. We've defended really well, we've had our shapes been really good. We've not created too many chances though away from home, and you're thinking, well, look, it's 1-0, we've hung in, we've stayed in the game. Now let's have a real goal. Last 15 minutes, let's go. If we lose 2 or 3 by at least trying to win the game, let's do it. But I'm a little bit disappointed in that we didn't push on a little bit in the last 15 minutes. That's my only complaint, really. I think we self-destruct for the goal. It was just an awful mistake. I mean, he didn't mean to make the mistake, but he has, and it's cost us at the end of the day. But like I say, I'd just like to see us try and put our foot down and have a real right go at them in that last 15 minutes. Don't be happy to lose 1-0. It's an FA Cup game. It's third round of the Cup. There's no pressure on you. Go and have a go. And probably, on the game, I mean, Fulham's obviously deserved to win it. They've had more possession, they've had more shots. I mean, without making our keeper make 5, 6, 7, 8 saves, they've defended really well, and that's the pleasing thing for me, because you're not going to play against Fulham every week away from home at the Championship level, and teams who keep the ball as well as they've kept the ball. It's not going to happen. So maybe the work that Liam's doing is shown a little bit, but we've got to cut out the silly mistakes. It wouldn't matter if we were playing a League 2 side today, and that mistake, it was so careless, if you like, to go and play inside and lose the ball there. But it was a great finish. We've lost the game to a tremendous goal, to be fair. The strike, but the build-up to it was awful. But overall, I'm quite happy in the way the shape of the side looked there, but I wasn't excited in an FA Cup where I want my side to get through and play or take something out of a Premier League side. We just didn't look like we were happy to lose 1-0 in my mind.
Ronnie Moore, as ever, thank you very much indeed for your company. Reaction to come on all BBC Radio Sheffield platforms in the not too distant future, but full time then here at Craven Cottage. Fulham 1, Rotherham United 0.